Jason just kept saying, like, the first one through the wall is going to be the bloodiest. And so that just stuck with us, and we were like, you know what, we're going to be the team that breaks through the wall and gets to the tournament since, like, I think the last time was like 2013 or something like that. It had been a while. And then 2022, we broke through, and it was just like all the people that came before and the work that Jason had put in to build this program. You know, when he got here, it had been a long journey. Those teams were like, it was rough at first. It was just so cool to see. And then last year was just like, you finally feel like the people that came before, like their hard work was getting recognized in that, even though they couldn't be on the team. It was really special.
Hogue to Jill Gillen. Call the Hogs to the round of 8 for the very first time.
In the greatest season in Razorback volleyball history, Hannah Hogue was the team's leading setter and an all-SEC performance.
Hannah Hogue by herself.
That's a heads-up play by the setter for Arkansas, Hannah Hogue.
But before she was a national standout, she was just a local girl who dreamed of being a Hog.
As a kid from Arkansas, all you want to do is be a Razorback in whatever form you can be a Razorback. So the fact that I've gotten to do that for 4 years is just really special for me.
Hogue committed to Arkansas at a young age, despite a recruiting pitch by Coach Jason Watson he claimed wasn't his finest.
He's been on record saying it was the worst recruiting pitch he ever gave. He was like, yeah, we don't know what position you're going to play, but we'd love for you to be a Razorback.
Despite the unconventional start, Hannah chose Arkansas, and the rest is history. Last season, the Razorbacks made headlines with their remarkable performance on the court, and Hannah was at the heart of it all.
That's my most fun season of volleyball I've ever had, because not just because we won, which is awesome, but it was with a group of people that I just really adore and love and will be my friends for the rest of my life.
With the newfound success comes newfound expectations. But for Hannah, it's about much more than what happens on the court.
Inside. Hey, that's a great swing, Liv. Really good stuff. Nice job, good set. It's going to challenge me in ways that I haven't been challenged before in a leadership role. And the things that you say as an upperclassman will stick with people. I know they did for me. So I'm just being very mindful of that and not going into it haphazardly. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm just so grateful and indebted to this place, and I don't want to miss a single moment of it because I'm worried about what's to come or I'm thinking about other things.
I guess, Hannah, we'll start just at the beginning. So you're an Arkansas native, grew up in Fort Smith, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Just how cool is it to be at Arkansas now, having grown up so close to this university?
Yeah, for me, it's really a dream come true. I mean, as a kid from Arkansas, all you want to do is be a Razorback in whatever form you can be a Razorback. So the fact that I've gotten to do that for 4 years is just really special for me.
Let's talk about your time in Fort Smith growing up there. What were you like as a kid?
You could find me outside all the time with my sisters. Like, we played every sport that you could imagine. So we were in the front yard, throwing a softball or playing basketball, like whatever it was with a ball, that's what we were doing. So, it was awesome just growing up with my family close. And, I think that forms you, just having your family there. So I wanted to go somewhere where I could still be with my family, and an hour away, it's perfect.
Any siblings?
Two sisters.
Two sisters.
One older, one younger.
Okay, so what are the athletics like in your family? I know that your mom and your dad both went here. Your dad played baseball, right?
Correct.
So This is already just an athletic family.
Yeah, so when my mom cheered here, she cheered for the national championship team. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, for the basketball team. So she cheered in this building.
Yeah.
So, our family's just super competitive, and whatever we're doing, like we play cards and, cards get thrown and people get fired up because it's just what we do. But I think that's made me who I am. Me and my older sister, we always got after it playing sports in the front yard. You get mad at each other, and then 20 minutes later you're like, okay, can we play again? Get over it. But yeah, just super athletic family, and just the way they support me. And, I can't thank my parents enough for the fact that growing up I always played sports, but they never made sports who I was. It was just something that I did. And I think, them having experience with that was helpful.
Yeah. How do you think your family would describe you if you were like looking back on how you were when you were growing up? Like you were a kid. How do you think they describe you?
So I played softball growing up as a kid.
Okay.
And you fail a lot in that sport. And I was just a hothead. Like, I mean, I'd strike out and I'd go into the dugout and like throw my helmet. And my dad, he was one of our coaches, and super calm, super patient. And the only time he ever got mad at me was my attitude. So they'd probably say that I've grown a lot since then, mentally. But yeah, just fiery and wanted to win in everything I did.
Had to learn to temper it a little bit.
Yeah, controlled.
You still get the aggressiveness and like the competitive side of you, I'm sure.
Controlled
Okay.
competitiveness is good.
Yeah. So you said softball. When did you get into volleyball exactly?
Yeah, I was 9 when I started playing volleyball.
Okay.
So I did softball and volleyball until my junior year of high school.
Okay. So when did you decide to just take volleyball all the way?
I think as soon as I started playing, I just felt this, like, I just wanted to be in the gym. Like, I just wanted to go to volleyball practice. That's what I wanted to do, play in the front yard. I had a love-hate relationship with softball, but it was good for me. But there was just something about volleyball that I was kept getting drawn to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you went to Southside High School. It sounds like when I was doing some research, like the team had to have been pretty competitive. When you were there, you guys went to 3 consecutive conference titles, so 3 Arkansas State championships. Just how hard was it to make the team there?
Yeah, it was a competitive group. You know, my sophomore year, Coach Hauser was the coach, and he'd been there for like 40 years.
Wow.
So there was a legacy there that everyone just wanted to respect and, you know, keep building upon, which they've done a great job. A lot of our players played club, so we were on the same teams. But yeah, it was a hard team to make, and you know, you did it with pride, and it was a lot of fun. We were a good
So
group.
You were playing club volleyball as well then?
Yes.
So tell me about that experience. Just what's club volleyball like?
Yeah, so it's in the spring, so you just go pretty much every other weekend from January to May, and you're playing tournaments across the country. So you're playing 4 games a day for 2 to 3 days, and you're just getting a lot of volleyball and playing against really good competition. So my teammates, I played against some of them like in club. So you get relationships and meet a lot of people.
How was that playing against them and then going to be teammates with them?
Yeah, it's weird. I remember one time, Jill was older than me, but we were
Yeah.
at the same tournament, and we were both committed. So I was like, I'm gonna go say hi to Jill, and they had just lost a match, and I went up to her to her mom, and she was like, I just don't know if it's a good
not the
time.
time.
And I was like, all right, I'll see her next week, I guess.
Well, you quickly made a name for yourself in your time at Southside. You had over 2,000 assists. You were the Gatorade Arkansas Volleyball Player of the Year in 2020, 2021. Walk me through your high school career. Just what was it like for you?
Yeah, it was super fun. I mean, we practiced in the morning, so you start your day playing volleyball with a lot of my good friends were on that team, and I love the coaching staff, still do. They're still there. But it was a grind. Like, you know, my sophomore year, we were in the Central Conference, so we would drive to Little Rock and Conway and through the middle of the week, which was hard, and you get back at 2 in the morning. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, you just learn so much about different dynamics because you're playing with so many different players at different levels. So you learn how to be a good teammate and how to just have grace for the people around you and also make them better. But you also know, like, it's high school. Not everyone wants to go play college sports. So it just shapes you into a person that can, you know, be what other people need you to be for them.
Yeah. And you talk about like trying to balance out. You're coming home at 2 a.m. sometimes middle of the week. Your classes are still going on. You graduated early, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
You had a 4.0 is what I saw. So clearly you're good in the books. Like your studies are on point. Was that something that your parents always emphasized with you?
Yeah, I think they always just taught us, like, whatever you're doing, just go be the best you can be at it. So for me, whatever I'm doing, I'm playing volleyball, studying, going to, you know, whatever. I just want to be the best I can be because I've been given these gifts and this ability. So if I'm not doing the most I can with it, I think it's disrespectful to me, to, you know, to them, to God who's given me the gifts.
How'd you decide to graduate early?
Yeah, it was kind of a conversation with Jason. I haven't thought about this in a long time. Yeah. He was just like, we have a spot open, like a scholarship opening up in the spring, and to just come in and get more reps if that's something you wanted to do. It ended up being the spring of COVID, so they were playing in the spring, which is not normal for volleyball. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'd love to, and then we kind of just got on the school stuff, which I was already ahead, so it was fine. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. It was awesome. I'm glad I did it.
Do you ever feel like you missed out on anything having left school a little early?
Maybe Color Wars.
Yeah.
It was like the end of
There you go.
but really no. I mean, I
Yeah.
think in the long run, like this was the best thing for me, and I got to be here
Yeah.
a year early, and I don't regret it at all.
So we mentioned your family has ties to the university here. Was it always just Arkansas or bust, or did you look at going anywhere else? I mean, because like I think about when I was looking to go to college, like I know some people want to get away from their family. Some people want a little bit of a distance, but you just went right up the road.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think back to that process, and I was like 14 years old. Like I was
Yeah.
young when I decided. I was definitely like open to other things, because the thing about like choosing to play volleyball at a place, like who the coach is matters, the people on the team matter, and how they want to build that program matters. And so I was aware of that, and when Jason got the job, that's when I really started paying attention, because I could see he was genuine, and what he wanted for this program was something great, and he had a vision for it, and just a great person. Like, you have to surround yourself with good people. So I was open to it, but when I met with him and talked to him, that was kind of just what I wanted to do. And, you do have that, like, well, maybe I need to get away. But in hindsight, like, the older I get, the more thankful I am for my family and their support. So couldn't be more pleased with my decision that I made at 14, which is just
Right?
insane.
That's actually crazy.
It's crazy.
Did your parents have, I mean, I'm sure they helped guide you through that decision too, being that you were so young.
Yeah, so when Jason met with us, he met with all three of us in his office, and he like offered me the scholarship, and we kind of left, and we just looked at each other, and we were like, what just happened? Because we weren't expecting that at all. But yeah, they just like told me that I didn't have to rush. Like Jason told me I had until like August of my senior year. So, I mean, we just prayed about it, and, they guided me, answered questions, but they just let me make the decision, which I think was hard for them to do and not influence it, but they did. Thankful for it.
With Jason, Coach Watson, what do you like about him? What was it that really drew you to him as a coach?
I think there was just no fluff.
Yeah.
Like, and he's been on record saying it was the worst recruiting pitch he ever gave to me, which
Really?
I didn't know it was that bad. But he was like, yeah, we don't know what position you're going to play, but we'd love for you to be a Razorback. And for me, just like, you can tell when someone's being genuine and when they're being honest, and it just comes across. And I think that for me really sold me. Like, couldn't put a finger on it at that time, but looking back, that's what it was. It's just like, he was the same guy in my recruiting process as he was in practice when I got to watch him practice. And that's a big deal, because you can't say that for, all coaches in college sports.
So you said you got to watch him practice. Did you get to come to any of the games and stuff growing up when you were playing volleyball?
Came to games, came to gymnastics meets in here, and then, when he got here, I came to a lot of games and just, watched how they did and those dynamics and how he coached. And I liked the way he coached. They let the players play, and, practice is a good time for coaching. Matches are a good time to just let your hard work show.
That's what I remember him saying when we talked with you guys last year. Coach was talking about his favorite thing is he likes to say that practice is for the coaches, the games are for the players.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So when you guys are at practice with him, what's he like?
Yeah, he's just very, sometimes he's goofy, like it's day to day, Sometimes he's pretty goofy, but he's genuinely just trying to let you figure some things out, and then kind of like adding some guardrails around it, and just kind of letting you come to a solution with his guidance behind it, which is he has a lot of science behind that, and he's really smart in that area, so it's pretty cool.
Well, let's go back to last season, because I mean, it was absolutely amazing to watch you guys advance to the Elite Eight. First time in program history that has happened. It's just one of the most successful seasons that this program has ever had. What was it like for you to be a part of it during, like, when you guys were going through that? How was it?
I look back, and that's my most fun season of volleyball I've ever had, because not just because we won, which is awesome, but it was with a group of people that I just really adore and love and will be my friends for the rest of my life. We got past like our pre-SEC schedule, like non-conference, and we looked at each other and we were like, we've lost 2 games, and they were to the number 1 team in the country. We were like, we're good. And so from there, we were just like, okay, I guess we just have to go play, because that's all we'd done at that point. We were just playing. So the longer the ride went, I think towards the end, like the pressure got pretty high. You know, we knew we were on the cusp of an SEC championship, and that brings, you know, different nuances. But we were really just enjoying the ride, like just being in the moment. And every time we got to play, we thought it was just the best thing ever.
Having, you know, your mom says she used to cheer in here and stuff, and now you had your family in here. This place was packed for some of your games. Just what was it like for you playing on this court?
Yeah, I think every time I step out on the court for warm-ups, my family sits right over there, and the section tends to get pretty big, like with friends and family. But yeah, I just like to take a moment, like look around, and then like find my people, because I know they're there. They're gonna be there, win, lose, draw. Like if I play awful or great, like they're gonna be there after the game to hug me. And so seeing that the state supports us, and like that means so much, and like the Hog call before a game, like gives me chills, because it's just, I mean, as a kid, you're the one calling the Hogs, and then, but yeah, I like to just take that time and look around, and then just know that my family's gonna be there. If everyone else left and they're still there, you know, I'd be pretty content.
And it also just had to be great because the success that you guys had last season didn't come easy. Like you guys went through years of really battling. Walk me through kind of the years prior to that and what you guys went through as a group.
Yeah, so I was here that when they played in the spring, and the tournament was shortened, so they took like, I don't know, 32 teams or something, or 40 something, and Arkansas was like the first 4 out. Heartbreaking, and I was only there for half the season, so I like understood what everyone was feeling, but I didn't feel it fully. The next season we're the first 4 out, and it just like, it was a good season, and we felt like we got kind of, you know, what we didn't deserve, and so that hurt. But Jason just kept saying like the first one through the wall is going to be the bloodiest, and so that just stuck with us, and we were like, you know what, we're going to be the team that breaks through the wall and gets to the tournament, since like I think the last time was like 2013 or something like that. It had been a while. And then 2022 we broke through, and it was just like all the people that came before and the work that Jason had put in to build this program. You know, when he got here, it had been a long journey, and those teams were like, it was rough at first. It was just so cool to see. And then last year was just like, you finally feel like the people that came before, like their hard work was getting recognized in that, even though they couldn't be on the team. It was really special.
It seems like I think the team as a whole, in some ways because of that, felt like a little bit of an underdog mentality. But individually, I know a lot of the players, like Jill has talked about how she was undersized and everyone thought that she couldn't play at this level. Did you ever feel that growing up in this sport?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember like just praying that I would make it to like 5'9", because I always thought I was too small, and I'm not there, but I'm close enough. But yeah, I think there's always just this chip on your shoulder, whether it's really there or not. I think like last year, there would be times that maybe the media said it or they didn't, but we just kind of made it up, maybe, or maybe it was there. But I think we were a group that just played better when we thought we had something to prove, and we had a lot of players on our team then and now that got told no a lot. It was like, you're too small, you're too this, you're too that, like you're not good enough to play at this level. And it was just like, well, you can watch, because someone thinks we're good enough, and we got the opportunity.
Did it help you guys like bond over that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was kind of like this unspoken, like, we have nothing to lose. Like everyone thinks we can't, so we might as well just do it.
I want to talk about you specifically, because that was your first season as the team's primary setter. Walk me through kind of what that was like for you. What did you learn from the season, and any challenges that you might have faced? Yeah,
so the 2022, we ran a 6-2, so I got to set with Gracie, and she was just such a pivotal part of my career, because, you know, when you're in the same position as someone, it's easy to just be competitive and not really help each other out, but she was such a mentor to me and a friend, that I learned a lot, and I could ask her questions. So then going into last year, I just knew I kind of had this responsibility to lead the team in that way, like as a setter, and which they did a great job. We all kind of led in different ways. But yeah, it just, you know, taught me how to run an offense and how to, you know, talk to one hitter this way and talk to another hitter in a different way, like what they need, not just set-wise, but like mentally, like what they're going to need. So that's helped me, and I'm kind of growing on that as we go into this season.
Yeah. Well, you played with some really talented girls last year, and sadly, you know, they graduate, they've moved on. I think Maggie is gone, Jill is gone, but Jill's not really gone, actually. I take that back.
She came back. She can't stay away.
She's here still. So she's on staff
Yep.
How does that dynamic change with the two of you, being that she was your teammate, now she's a coach?
Yeah, I think what's cool is like in our gym, we really want to help each other. So even last year, like, you know, she was coaching me some, I was coaching her, and everyone just kind of helps coach in that way. So it hasn't changed a lot, which obviously now it's like there's a little bit of a line because she's on staff. But like we're still friends, and I know that's still a place I can go to like talk to or, you know, seek advice. And yeah, it's awesome having her back. It's like a little bit of consistency that you get back, which is awesome.
Yeah. And she's an incredible player as well. I mean, we watched her set records here. Just what did you learn from her and some of the other girls that you played with last year?
Yeah, I think for Jill, the first thing I noticed, like, coming on campus was she's going to go about her business the way she does, and she's going to 100% everything she does, and she's not going to have to say much because you just gravitate towards that. Like, if you set the standard in that way, people are going to naturally just follow. So I've learned that, and just, like, you don't always have to say it. Sometimes you just have to do it. Like, in the weight room here, like, if you're doing your best, it's going to draw other people to do that. But also, you know, just I think Jill is the epitome of tell me no, and I'll show you that I can. And just it's cool to see. And she grew so much from freshman year to her 5th year, if you go back and watch. And it was just awesome. So proud of her.
How'd you find out that she was on staff?
How did I find out? We went to Utah in May to work like a gold medal squared clinic.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, so I think I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to be on staff. And I was like,
sure, why
whatever. Yeah. But then I think one day Jason put her in the group text like a couple weeks ago and was like, yeah, Jill's on staff.
That's how he told you
Yeah,
guys?
it was no big production or anything. It was like, yeah, so Jill's going to join us.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
Mm-hmm. It's so Jason, though.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Do you and Jill still get to hang out outside of volleyball, or is it more like professional? You got to keep it like coaching.
We can go to like dinner and stuff, but that's about
Gotcha.
No, there's not like a difference in the gym or anything. You feel like it's still just Jill, which is really cool. I think that's a hard transition for some people, and she's done it really well.
Well, so you talked about her leadership and what you learned from her and some of the other players that you got the chance to work with. Now you're going to have to be that leader for this team. Are you ready for it? What are you looking forward to about that and taking on that challenge?
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, I've been talking to, like, I talked to Susie and Jason and Jordan and all the coaching staff just about like how it's going to be different, but it's a good different. It's exciting, and it's going to challenge me in ways that I haven't been challenged before in a leadership role. Like, you know, I think back to high school, and I was leading that team from sophomore year to senior year, like different dynamics. Every year was different in the way that you have to lead. So just like going back and, you know, learning about things I did that I wanted to do differently and things that people before me did that I really respected. And, you know, just being conscious of that. And I think it's every day for me. Like, I'm having to genuinely think about how I want to approach things because our team is pretty young. Besides the seniors, like I think we have upperclassmen and then just some pretty young people. And the things that you say as an upperclassman, like, will stick with people. I know they did for me. So I'm just being very mindful of that and not going into it haphazardly. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge. I'm excited for it.
Does it feel different coming into the season, knowing that you guys had such a successful year last year?
Yeah, I think the difference for me is that it's my last. So that's been a kind of on my mind every time I walk into this gym, where it's like I know the last is coming. As far as last year goes, I think it's just trying to build on that and knowing that our team's different and we're not going to be the same, and maybe the result's the same or maybe it's better, but just accepting it day in and day out that, you know, we're going to go be Arkansas volleyball players and whatever happens.
It's your last year. It's like last ride. I mean, just all the emotions I'm sure are building up. What are your hopes for this last ride for you?
I think my hope is that I just enjoy every time that I get to play volleyball as a Razorback, because it's been like the joy of my life to represent this state and this school and do it in front of my family and do it with my friends. I think this program has brought me the best friends that I've ever had, and I'm just so grateful and indebted to this place. And I don't want to miss a single moment of it because I'm worried about what's to come or I'm thinking about, you know, other things. I just want to really be like in the moment.
Well, Hannah, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us today.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome.